All right, we're on the air, and we can totally see Mr. Saratelli's behind. That's okay. That's a little nice benefit for those of you that are joining us live. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
All right, my bad.
You're good.
I'm back.
All right. That was a nice. I was telling our listeners, or those of people that are gonna end up watching this.
Yep.
That's a added benefit that they get to see you from the back.
Yeah. Lucky you guys.
All right. So we're back. Oh man, hold on a sec. That I'm peeking here. So unprofessional.
Yeah,
Hello.
Really struggling today.
I know. All right, we're both running on very little sleep.
Oh man.
All right, so why am I so? That's
Just
so weird.
turn
Like
the
I hear myself like I'm peaking. Like I don't. All right. Here we go. We'll just roll with it. So we're back for another episode of iFilmmaker. My name is Ariel Martinez. With me is Mr. Saratelli.
What up?
What's up, man? We're both over here with red eyes.
Oh my gosh.
What's going on over here, man?
Man, am I tired, dude. We've just been shooting. I got to get up for a 7 a.m. flight tomorrow to shoot some more all weekend out in San Fran. So let's get this in, man. Let's get it going.
Holler. All right. So today we have a very exciting episode because we are talking about the Sony A7riii. This is like definitely a must talk about camera. We're gonna go through the specs dot for dot, bullet point by bullet point, and we're gonna, I guess, see everything that's being offered in this new camera. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Patreon. So today I went ahead and I posted our first video. Really our I guess side video, our BTS video. If you guys are not already doing so, go over to patreon.com/iFilmmaker. Anybody can see this video. All you have to do is be a follower. So go over there, go to patreon.com/iFilmmaker, and I post a 5-minute video, a breakdown of my entire shooting setup. I was shooting an interview today, and my subject, my talent was running a little late. So with all my lights set up, everything was there, ready to go. I decided to pull out my phone and just record a BTS. So I break down everything that I'm using, how I'm using it, where the lights are, what they're doing, why I place them there, and all that stuff. So go over there, check that out. That's patreon.com/iFilmmaker. We'll be putting the link to that on our description for the show, on the show notes for this podcast. Also, Mr. Saratelli and myself are challenging ourselves. We are what I call accepting a challenge. We're going to challenge ourselves to do what's called run and gun guerrilla filmmaking. We don't know what we're going to shoot. We don't know how we're going to shoot it. All we know is that it's going to take place in Miami on November 22nd. And we want you guys to be with us. So on November 22nd, this is a Tuesday, in Miami, Mr. Saratelli and myself, we're going to be shooting something. Do you know what it is, Anthony?
I have no idea what it is.
All right. So this is what we're doing. We're shooting something. It's going to be a short. We don't know if it's a short documentary. We don't know if it's a short narrative. We're going to be putting this together as we go. And we have until the 22nd. Anthony has already booked his flight. His flight's already booked.
It is booked.
This is happening, guys. We want you guys to join us. If you're in the area, if you're in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, in the tri-state area, if anywhere, you guys can join us from anywhere. We want to meet you guys. We want you to be a part of it. You can be there observing, or you can join us. You could be a part of the production. Be a part of it with us. We are shooting this on the Red Raven. We're going to be shooting this on Anthony's camera, the Red Raven. He is bringing it down from Jersey. And we're going to be shooting this, whatever it is. And we don't know what we're shooting yet, but we're doing something. We're making this happen. He told me that he's coming to Miami. I said, dude, let's shoot something. Anything. It doesn't matter. Let's just do it. So that's what we're going to do.
We're doing it. No, I'm excited, man. We have no idea what it is. I actually just booked the flight finally before this. I mean, what, 5 minutes before we started this?
5 minutes ago. It's official. It's happening.
Yeah, I did it to confirm, just so we can announce it officially. My flight's there, ready to go. I'm bringing the camera down. It's going to be fun, man. I really have no idea what we're going to do, but we have the full day to do it. We have all of the 22nd. That's the plan. Like, we could shoot all morning, all night, but that's it. We're going to shoot that day, and we're going to make something.
And here's the thing. Why are we announcing it right now? Because we want to stay accountable. So many times as filmmakers, we're always saying, and I'm guilty of this as well, I need to shoot something. I'm going to shoot something. And I never end up shooting anything. So we're announcing it right now so that myself and Anthony, so we can stay accountable, so that if we don't end up doing anything, we want you guys to call us out on that. Call us out on us not doing anything. You know, we're not saying this is going to be a success. We're not going to say that this is going to be a failure. But if whatever it ends up being, you guys will know about it. You guys will be plugged into that. And that is the reason why we're announcing it now, because now that you all know about this, we have to do it. We've already announced it. Something is going down.
Yeah, and this is live. We can't even take it back.
This is live. We can't even take this back. We got people already tuning in live, listening to this conversation. And now we can't take it back. So, dude, we have a work cut out for us. And this is why I call this challenge accepted, because I am excited about this. It's actually the first time you and I are going to get to meet in person. So it's going to be very interesting. We're going to be planning this out. We're going to, I guess, brainstorm some ideas, see what crops into our heads, and we'll be putting this together. So hopefully you guys will join us November 22nd in Miami. If you're not able to make it, we are going to be taking some BTS stuff. A lot of that stuff, we're going to be posting it over on Patreon. Make sure you're there. Follow us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ifilmmaker. And we're going to be posting all that stuff there. So welcome to those that are joining us live right now. I see a few people are joining us live, and thank you guys for watching. We have a chat going on. You guys can go ahead and write your questions and, join the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's it for the announcement. So let's get right to the nitty gritty. I want to talk about this camera, right?
Yep.
But before we do that, let's talk about real quick this other announcement here, the Sony 24-105. Let's just get this out of the way real quick. So Sony, they announced the A7R Mark III, but they also announced the Sony 24-105 f4. I guess it's their new, the newer version of their current 24-105. Oh, I'm sorry, they had an 18-105.
That's right.
F4. All right. So that's what they had. From what I've seen, I wasn't a big fan. Not sure that the glass was very sharp. I'm much more comfortable with my Canon 24-105. So I haven't seen the imagery on this one. So let's just go down real quick on the specs on this real quick. So, it's a 24-105 f4. It's an E-mount lens, of course. It's from Sony. The aperture goes from 4 to f22. It has 4. Okay, so these are bullet points that I'm not. Sometimes I don't even know what some of these bullet points.
I don't know what that means.
So it says 4 aspherical elements, 3 ED elements. If anyone knows what that means and you're watching live, please write us there, because we have no idea what that means. Apparently they use some good fluorine coatings. Direct drive supersonic wave autofocus motor. I assume it has good autofocus capabilities. It's a lot of razzle dazzle there to describe the autofocus. Optical steady shot image stabilization. IS. Yep. Simple as that. It's just
OSS, IS. I think they call it OSS. Optical steady shot is on Canons, what is it? It is IS, right?
Yeah,
I'm trying
pretty
to look
much.
around here.
Is that copywritten by Canon?
It might be like their,
I know Tamron uses VR.
Yeah, I think theirs is OSS. So like you'll see the lenses. I'm pretty sure it'll be like, 24-105 E mount FE for full. That's their full frame format.
I think Tamron has like the vibration reduction or something like that.
I think OSS is what they call it, but it's image stabilization, same thing.
All right, so it has a focus hold button.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a autofocus manual focus switch?
Man, I don't shoot pictures enough or stills enough to know these things. To be honest
All right, so it has a 9-blade diaphragm, basically a 9-blade iris, rounded 9-blade iris. That's pretty nice. It's for sure is really nice. Definitely a step up from the 8-blade that I'm used to with the Canon, but still not as nice as my 24-105 10-blade. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big sucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to test that out when they come down there, man.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You got that bokeh is. All right, let's get to the good stuff now. This is what people are wanting to, I guess, hear about. So the Sony A7R Mark III. You have the A7S Mark II, correct?
Correct.
Have you considered getting the A7R Mark II?
I did when I first considered getting the A7S Mark II. I was going back and forth. Well, I mean, if I want to just keep that short and quick, generally the A7S II is better for video, and the A7R II is better for photos. And the megapixels are higher on the A7Rs,
right?
And the low light capabilities and the video capabilities are better on an A7S. So that was straight up the reason I ended up doing it. I'm shooting mostly video. I'm not shooting stills. So for me, it just wasn't worth getting the A7R. But now maybe we have something else to talk about. Let's talk about it and see. Yeah.
So I've been back and forth on that. I love the A7S. So hands down, the A7S is definitely for me a must-have camera. The A7S Mark II. Yeah, the low light is definitely a necessity, especially when you're shooting events. But I don't see myself shooting that many events at all to justify that purchase. I have, like, honestly, I've been considering the A7R more than the S for the reason of the time lapsing. So I've shot a time lapse with an A7R Mark II, and it's been ridiculously gorgeous. Like, I could not believe how nice it was.
Well, you're getting so many megapixels per shot. I mean, it's insane.
The raw files are so big,
so
freaking big. I think it was like 85 megabytes per file. Yeah. On a regular JPEG from a Canon, it's like, from what I remember, it's like 25. That's a raw JPEG. I'm sorry, not JPEG. That's raw.
I was gonna say that was
no. A regular JPEG, it's 4.5 or something like that. Yeah. A raw from Canon is 25 megapixels.
Sure.
Right. This is 85 megapixels. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot for one still. Imagine a time lapse. How many stills are you doing there?
It's gigabytes.
It was, my goodness. It was massive files for stills, so that's the reason why, like, the A7R Mark II was really starting to look very tempting when I was considering another, I guess, handheld mirrorless camera, something that was easier for running gun. So the autofocus on this camera, I know that the autofocus on the A7R Mark II is hands down one of the best out there, because that thing is just blazing fast. Hook that camera up with the proper lens, with a compatible Sony lens, and you're flowing. You're flowing pretty good, especially for you that you're now getting into the handheld gimbal realm. That's something that's going to be very attractive, Sure. And so the autofocus, I know on that is good, even though it's still good on the A7S Mark II, just not as good, so that's also something to consider. It does have 10 frames per second shooting, and I'm assuming that's obviously stills.
Yeah, I thought the A7R II only had 5 frames per second. I'm pretty sure it did. I'm looking at some other comparisons here, and I think
Yeah,
that doubled. I think it was 10, but here it also does this. It does 10 frames per second as far as, and we're talking about stills here.
right,
It
right.
does 10 shots a second at with a mechanical shutter and with the electronic silent shutter. I think on the A7R2, it did 5 frames per second
Right.
with the mechanical, but I don't know if it did with the shutter, with the silent or not. There was some sort of discrepancy there, but on the
Right.
A7R2, it does 10 frames per second with the mechanical and also with the electronic silent shutter. But you do get some, I think, rolling shutter issues when you go to the electronic side. There's some sort of difference the way it captures the image, and that changes things. So that's the difference there. I'm pretty close with that. I'm definitely a little off. Again, stills are not my expertise, but that's the impression I get from reading these things.
Yeah, and so from what I've shot very few times with the A7R, but that just goes to show you that the few times that I have shot with it, it's definitely impressive. So another thing, now let's get into some video features here. From what I remember, the A7R Mark II, this was another big turnoff for me from the A7R Mark II. It does 4K 24 to 30. 24 and 30. And then it does 60 frames, 1080. But then when you want to go to 120 frames, it goes down to 720.
Ugh.
That was a huge turnoff.
Sure.
I've shot
and that's why it wasn't a video camera compared to
exactly. And that's
right?
Yeah. So it definitely held features back, because I can see why Sony would have to do something like this, because I mean, imagine if there was only one difference in feature, right? There was only one difference in feature. So the reason why, from what I understand, the reason why the A7S Mark II or the A7S line period is so good in low light is because the megapixels are so low. From what I understand, the higher the megapixel, the better the megapixels. The lower the megapixel, the better low light performance in video, from what I understand. So they're pumping in so many megapixels into this camera. The low light performance is not going to be as good. Like, they're not able to take that ISO as high as they usually do, you know? So there's a reason why they go and put 2 cameras, correct? Now that they have 2 cameras, it's basically saying, you're basically telling them, the only difference is one has better megapixels, one has better ISO performance, but they have to make a little bit more different of a difference in features. What do? They're going to make this one 1080p at 120, the other one at 720. They're going to have to hold some other things back to basically make a much bigger separation and gap. If the cameras are too close together in features, you're going to have a market that's kind of mixed. They're all going to probably lean over to, let's say, the A7R Mark II. I think that would have been a more popular camera. Because when you have features like that is already included in the A7R, and all you're missing is the low light performance, which is a huge deal, by the way. It's a huge deal.
That camera I keep around. I mean, look, it gets beautiful images no matter what, but that is the only camera I can get some shots with, because if I'm especially shooting doc stuff, you just never know what situation you're going to be lit in.
Right.
And that camera is so handy, and you can't get that with any other camera. I've never come across another one that does what that does.
Exactly. So they had to, but that's more obviously for video creators. You know what I mean? And imagine that, because I know that you can definitely get away with low light stills. You can definitely get away. You could bring that stuff back when it's raw stills. You can really work with that stuff. Not so much in video. So that's why videographers will always cater to the A7S Mark II or Mark III or whatever comes out right now. And then stills, it's always going to be the A7R. So for someone that does both, they're always going to go with the A7R. They're always going to go with the A7R.
I agree. And especially now the A7R III, if that's what you're saying.
Right.
Especially now, and maybe before as well, but especially now. This thing is just, they beat up.
I mean, and this is where I'm thinking. And all right, so we'll talk about this a little later. But I got some hopes for the A7S Mark III, but we'll talk about that a little later. Let's go into the I guess the ISO performance on this one.
Okay.
So this one goes and tops out at 102,400.
Well, let's be a little bit more specific about that, because it does what's called expandable ISO. So there's a base ISO that's like 100 to 32,000. I don't understand. And I'm bringing this up, one, because I don't understand what it means. So maybe you do, or maybe someone does and can tell us. It has an expandable ISO that goes down to 50 instead of 100, and up to 102,400 instead of just 32,000. Now, when I see that in my mind, I'm thinking that must not be that good. It's just got to be there in case, but it can't be good if it's called an expandable. I mean, who's going to shoot at 32,000 anyways?
You're absolutely right.
I don't understand why it's even written like that. I guess it just looks cool. 102,000. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I've never been in an instant where I've ever had to shoot that high, but I could, if I ever find myself in a, shooting somewhere, a dock somewhere where there's absolutely no available light at all, I'm going to have to go, as crappy as the image is going to come out.
Look so terrible.
I'm going to have to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to shoot.
Yeah.
So, even then I'll probably put an on-camera light. As much as I hate them, I mean,
I really think I'm trying to think of a situation. I think the lowest I've ever gone, or the highest, I guess, would be like 6,400, and it's pretty usable. But I feel like I've never really, even in any situation, even in very dark, unless there's zero light, which I've never shot in zero light. There's always some light around. If there's some light, it's so good. It can get you something at like 6,400. So
it's one of those things where, I mean, I guess it's one of those things where if the max ISO, I think for like the Canon 5D Mark III, I think it was like 64,000, right? It would top out at 64,000. Obviously, you're not going to shoot at 64,000, but the bigger that you can top out at, the higher you can go in usable footage.
Sure.
So the higher you take that, the higher you can go in usable footage. So if this one tops out at 102,400. You can go higher than 6,000, 7,000, maybe even 10,000. I think I've seen 10,000 usable footage from an A7R. Nice. And so the A7S Mark II tops out at like 400,000 ISO, but you're not going to shoot at 400,000 ISO. But what that means is, like, I've seen footage where it's usable. It's like 25,000, and it's still usable footage. So the higher the top that it tops out at, the higher the usable ISO range that you're able to shoot in, so
makes sense.
That's basically where it comes from. So if it tops out at 64,000, like, Canon does, and then, your usable ISO, the highest usable ISO is going to be much, much lower. It's going to be like, I think it's like 3,000.
Well, let's look at, just so people understand this, the expandable one that I'm talking about was also 102,400 for the A7R II as well. But the regular ISO, I guess, range, that's topped out at 25,600 as opposed to now 32,000 on the Mark III. So they have bumped that up. So I think no matter what, even though the top of 102,000 is the same, this one should be better in low light.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. I mean, either way, I think it's still really solid. For sure. I think, in my opinion, nobody hate me on this, I'm not a photographer, I'm a videographer. In my opinion, this is a much better camera than the 5D Mark III. I mean, Mark IV. I meant from what I've seen, I've downloaded some stills online, and I've seen them both, and they both look great. I just think, I really feel that this camera is really going to be top of the line, just from knowing Canon, basically, and I mean, now you have the 120 frames at 1080p. I'm interested to see what the A7S is going to come out with, Mark III. So, all right, so let's move over to, all right, so it has obviously built-in Wi-Fi. That's obviously a no-brainer. The Bluetooth. Did it have Bluetooth before? The A7R Mark II. If it did, I never took advantage of that.
I don't know if it did. I don't know the answer.
Built-in Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Built-in Wi-Fi. It doesn't say Bluetooth. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I don't think the A7S has Bluetooth either. It has the built-in Wi-Fi
right.
the same.
Okay, so that's a new feature. Now it has Bluetooth. I wonder what that Bluetooth is for. I wonder if now, because I know with my A6300 with the through the Sony uh through the Sony Play Memories app, I can see my image, see what I'm shooting, right? But
Yeah, Play Memories.
that's with the built-in Wi-Fi, right?
Yes,
And
it's with the built-in Wi-Fi.
I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if it's better with Bluetooth or not. I don't know what the Bluetooth would be for. But I can also pass the images to my phone via that app. You're right, with the built-in Wi-Fi. So, and it's actually pretty convenient. It connects right away. If my phone is not already connected to a Wi-Fi, it connects right away as soon as I connect it, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I love doing that. If I do have it on me and I see something cool, I love doing that to get my Instagram pic, right? I take it on a nicer camera. I switch it over real quick through the Wi-Fi. That's pretty cool. I like that feature.
I love doing that too. I do it all the time. I do it on set when I have a couple minutes. I'll snap a picture and quickly send it to my phone.
Yep.
And yeah. By the way, somebody had asked me what filters I use for my images. VSCO Cam. I love the VSCO app.
Man, I've never gotten into VSCO. Everyone loves that.
Oh, VSCO is so nice, man. It has great cinematic filters. I love those things.
I like Google Snapseed. I just like Snapseed. It's easy to use, but
yeah, they have a lot of features there. They have a lot of features there. It's great. It's just that, all right, so here's the like Snapseed, they have a lot of features that you can use. It's just a little too much. Like, I don't want to go through all those features. I love that VSCO, like all their filters are very cinematic already. So it's just a perfect starting point. If I just mess with the shadows a little bit and the highlights and maybe sharpness and whatnot, but other than that, it's already good to go. And I just I slap the filter on. Usually I always like it and I just export it like that.
Yeah, I need to start doing that. I think I do what you're saying. I kind of go through, I have my kind of lineup of what I like to go through, but I go through them all and make the adjustments. I never really use a little more time. Filter. It does. It takes more time. And I don't know if that's just
but that's why I think
editing thing.
VSCO is a lot more popular because you get what you like already cinematically.
You have to like log in or something, don't you? Or can you just use it?
Maybe no, I just get right. If I am logged in, I did it once and I never had to do it again. So I know they try to make you to make an account and share your stuff and make it like a social media platform.
Yeah. I don't want. That's what I didn't like about it. I think I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm done.
I don't do any of that. No. I just import it, put a filter, export it. That's it, and it holds the quality. But when you export it, it asks you, do you still want to keep the 6,000 by 4,000 quality? I'm like, heck yeah.
Oh,
cool. All right. So back to the A7S Mark II, A7R Mark III. I'm sorry. Whew.
Ooh, not even close.
It's been so many times, so long. We've been saying Mark II, Mark II, Mark II. So the A7R Mark III, dual SD slots.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever, like, at least on your A7S Mark II, have you ever ran out of space while recording?
Oh, on my card?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I've done, but like for some doc work, I've done 3-hour interviews, and I have to switch cards at some point. I have to switch batteries. I have to switch cards.
Clearly. But what I'm saying is, like, in one recording, you can't record longer than 30
Oh no, you can't record. No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, before you record, you can obviously tell. Okay, I gotta swap cards.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's never been an issue with me. Like, but I've always had enough time to. Obviously, I can't say always, and I'm always going to have enough time. Maybe there'll be that time where I just can't swap. I have to keep going. And yeah, but I mean,
you can't record more than a half hour, so you'd have to literally be within that half hour, and it switches over. Right, you know that's going to happen before you push record. If you don't see how much time.
The only time I've ever had to like stop. I mean, I couldn't stop recording. I had to keep recording. Was like with these lately with these Burger King conventions and these lectures I've been shooting at, FIU. It's just these are our like long recording times. I shot, I think it was like an 8-hour seminar. It was insane.
So you're saying even on cinema cameras that you've only done it pretty much in this situation recently?
Only in those situations. I mean, my My
That's weird.
FS5 can, you know, it records until I tell it to stop.
It hot swaps. Yeah,
exactly. So I can, it does that for me, and that's great. When I'll never use, like, knowing that I have 30-minute limit on these cameras, I'll never use those for like recording seminars or anything like that. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like,
on my FS5 and FS7, on both, I'm knowingly going to run out of time, but I know it's going to switch over. So I just max out the card, let it switch. I throw another card in the other slot. So I've done that, but it's not like I don't know it's going to happen. I'm just all of a sudden running out.
Exactly. So that was my thing. Like, I'm always well aware that if it's going to happen, that it's going to happen. And it only happens on my FS5 because I allow it to happen.
Sure. I don't think it's so much for us. I think it's more for, like you're saying, if you're a seminar kind of person, you're shooting live events that keep rolling, you can hot swap, get the media off, put it back in, or just keep swapping your cards, and it just records all day.
I get you,
but I don't get it for the A7R.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, it doesn't even record longer than 30 minutes. So why do people need dual SD card slots? Like, if somebody can please answer me this.
Does it shoot for stills? Does it shoot like JPEGs to one and RAW to the other? Like, because that's what my Mark III does. My 5D Mark III does that, because it has a C compact flash card and an SD card. So I'll do the RAW to the compact flash card, and I'll do the JPEGs to the SD card. So I bet it can do that.
I just want to make something clear for those of you that are listening. I don't want to come off like, I'm obviously coming off very ignorant.
You're a hater, bro. You're a hater.
I'm a hater. I hate this. No, it's really, I don't, for me, I don't think I've used it. And it's just something that I don't know. If somebody knows the answer to that, please write me, let me know. I would love to understand that. I just don't get it. Like, if the camera cannot record longer than 30 minutes, why would you need a hot swappable dual SD card slot?
I think it is more for what we just talked about. I think that you're gonna be able to record multiple cards at the same time. So whether it's a JPEG and a RAW, or you're dual recording them, because what if one fails? I actually love that. I don't know if you can do video. Can you do video to both?
Yes, I know it does that, because I don't know about this camera, but I know that FS5
power, though.
Mr. McCoy actually does that a lot.
Where great backup.
Yeah, he records to both SD cards in case one of them fails. I'm a little risky in that point. I just record to one in case I need the other one. But
I do 95% of the time too. But I mean, I love when that's available. Just like with audio, and I don't know why I find it more important with audio, but it's a lot easier with audio, I guess. If I could record to both, I would. But a lot of cameras have that issue. The issue of processing power, so it won't push to both cameras. All right, so
we have some messages here coming in live. So Digital D Films is saying that it says, I believe it chooses proxy to the second card. So I can see why that's a feature. I can see why that's a very useful feature. It's, you know, another comment here is coming in and saying that the dual SD card is for photography. I mean, it's for photography. It's a photography camera. Great.
That makes sense.
Right. That it does make sense. It definitely does make sense. Again, I'm not a official photographer at all. So yeah, I wouldn't know that. Thank you guys for weighing in on that. So it does make sense. So it does make sense on my A6300. The setting that I always had, because I love taking pictures on it. I love it because it's just obviously a lot better than my iPhone pictures. But I love having the option of RAW, right? So I always have it set to JPEG and RAW, right? And when I do events, let's say for my church or anything else, I always have it to JPEG and RAW. And it is kind of annoying that both of them are in the same folder.
Yeah. That's why.
If it's for the purpose of having JPEG on one card, RAW on the other, it is very convenient to just take out one card and only have the JPEGs that I want to mess with.
I love that about the Mark III, 5D Mark III. But the problem is that it has two different types of cards, and it really frustrates me that I have to have a compact flash card in there as well as an SD card. I wish they were both SD. So Sony kind of made that fix right there. And
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I can see why that's useful, and definitely for that. Thank you guys for weighing in on that.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that. So appreciate it. So it has a USB 3.1 Generation 1 Type-C port and a PC sync port, which I believe is the micro USB. But the 3.1 Generation 1 Type-C USB port I've seen that. I've been seeing that as a new thing now. It's actually like the new Android chargers now, and it's kind of like I think they're in the new Max, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's yeah. I think
It's
it's
like the
USB
new
3, right?
USB.
That's a very extended name for it. 3.1 generation 1 Type C port. I thought it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
USB
yeah,
3, but I imagine that's the same thing. Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
that's cool. If you guys listening in live, if you know what that would benefit, I guess is it faster
It's
transfer
definitely
rate?
faster. Yeah.
Faster
Yeah.
transfer rates. All right, cool. All right. Dynamic range. So apparently the A7R Mark III has one-stop higher dynamic range than the A7R Mark II, which is at 15 now. The Mark II was at 14. Now the Mark III is at 15. That's cool.
That is cool.
Like
really cool.
I've always enjoyed the high dynamic range availability with shooting S-Log3. It's obscene. Like it's crazy flat. It's disgusting when you're shooting, but when you grade that, the amount of flexibility that you have, even with 8-bit, because I'm not talking about color here, I'm talking about contrast, I'm talking about exposure, right? The details that you can get in the shadows, and the details that you can retain in the shadows and in the highlights. And then when you bring that back in, you can really, you have a lot of flexibility there in terms of exposure and whatnot. So it's really, really nice. It's the 8-bit that always gets me when I try to put the colors back into the skins. That's always a mission. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Do you
stops of
think
dynamic range is a lot, man.
Do you think that's going to hold up in the video? I mean, I know that they're probably giving you those numbers on the raw images, like still images.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking you, do you think it's going to hold up in the video?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know the answer to that.
If it translates over to video, I mean, I know that the A7S Mark II, terrific dynamic range. S-Log3, beautiful. Does it hold up in video? When I bring that back in, it's worked for me. So I can imagine how much better this would be. One more stop, in these terms, one stop is a lot, in these terms, 15 stops is like, I think it's what the Ursa Mini Pro is like, what the Ursa Mini 4.6K has, 15 stops of dynamic range. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that that's gonna be possible. But I mean, hey, we're moving up in the world here, right?
Yeah,
Technology keeps moving forward.
Listen, like, a few years ago, it was hard to believe that any camera like the A7S Mark II and A7R Mark II would have been available. So it's
I guess I just got to start believing in all this stuff.
Especially from a company like Sony, who's been pushing the limits every single, for the past 5 years. They've been really pushing the limits as to what they're not even the past, it's more than 5 years. They've been really pushing the limits on what they're on their releases. So
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
Hybrid log gamma. Have you played with that?
I have not.
Yeah, I played with that when I was in Minnesota. I still have the footage there. I haven't put it together. I plan to. I was shooting. So when I was in Minnesota, I actually went out. I had some downtime because of Hurricane Irma that had passed. I was delayed by like a day and a half to return. So I took a day to go out and shoot. And I decided to just do everything hybrid log gamma. I'm not like, I don't know everything about it. I was just trying to see what difference does it make. So I have yet to edit that. So I want to piece that together and post it and see what's up. See what it gives me in terms of editing and dynamic range and all that. All the lovely goodies there.
Have you looked at any of the footage online from the A7R2?
Well, you know what? I have not, man.
Dude, it's pretty nice. What have you seen? It's pretty nice. Yeah. We should put a link in the description. I'll show you the one that I saw.
We'll put all those links. We'll put all those links in the description and the show notes for this.
I got off the bat. I mean, we just talked about the what did we just watch recently? The EVA 1. It blew, in my mind, it blew it out of the water. As far I might say the colors maybe weren't as vibrant, but the dynamic range of this whole, they were shooting mountains and water and skies. It was impressive. I mean, if that's what's coming out of that camera, it's impressive.
All right. So I'm looking at a video right now. The one with the mountains and the lake.
Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks
unreal.
Good. Yeah. It makes me in a way want to get that and use that most of the time. But
oh my God, how do they?
But the I mean, just the A7S II again, because of the low light, I would never get rid of it. But maybe I'll get the A7R2 to have or R3 as well. I don't think I'm going to at this point, but it is impressive. It looks really nice.
I'm not even looking at this on my 4K monitor because I have you on my 4K monitor. But
thanks, buddy.
What the heck? All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna cover you right now. I gotta expand this. I need to go full screen on this bad boy. Yeah, go ahead and keep playing. But oh my gosh, look at that.
I'm trying to look up the title of this, so if anyone listening can, or I can put it in the notes here on YouTube.
I mean, you can find this anywhere. This is gonna be like you could get this on Cinema 5D, newshooter.com, and all the you know your typical videography, photography websites. But the ones that we go to, Cinema 5D, New Shooter is really for video. But we'll put all these links there. But my God, this is gorgeous. I mean, I'm not surprised. Sony usually always like they kill it with their own demos.
Yeah,
they hire like
I don't know who they're hiring the best. They
hire the best people. Why can't Panasonic do that? Like,
I don't know why they didn't do that.
Dude, that was so nice. I'm gonna go to another one.
They just lost a sale with you. I can tell.
Who? Oh,
Panasonic.
I don't know, man. I definitely still want to talk about. I definitely want to test it out myself. I'm just skeptical about who's messing with that footage, you know? So I kind of want to get the footage myself, grade it myself, see if it holds up. Yeah, I got to do that myself. I don't know. I can't go by what I see, you know, even though it's nice to see it, but can't go by what I see there. So,
all right.
While I'm still enjoying this. I'm sorry, but I can keep talking. Let's go into. Oh God, this is so gorgeous. Let's go. I think that covers all the specs for the A7R Mark III. While I continue to enjoy this video, that I'm like mesmerized here. Like this can't. I'm like here thinking this can't be real. Like it is like obscene. Who they hire to make this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks good.
It's just gorgeous. I took off the music and all that. It's just forget about it.
I'll move on while you're admiring.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The next thing I would like to talk about, and I want to hear your thoughts, is on the A7S III, and if there is one, when it's coming. We actually got a question on YouTube here as well. One of the first questions from Digital D Films was, any word on the A7S III?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's a word on it, but we have thoughts, right? I have some thoughts of what I'd like to see.
Obviously, I think everyone's expecting it to come out any day now, maybe a week or two later.
Yeah. I mean, the A7R III kind of just dropped on us, sort of, right? It wasn't really a big announcement that it was coming. It just kind of came.
Yeah, it was an overnight.
I wonder how A9 owners feel about that. I don't know if they're going to be.
Come on, you had to expect this. Come on, it's Sony. I mean, I got the A7S, A6300, and not even a year later, the A6500 came out.
Yeah, they're just nonstop pumping them out.
I was like, whatever, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that's like when they came out with the FS7 Mark II. I was like, oh man, but it has like one major upgrade, which is the variable ND, but otherwise it's the same camera. So
right.
I was like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to sell an upgrade here.
Yeah,
I can deal with it.
Yeah, that's how I felt about the A6500. It's like, all right, it's gonna be maybe a B cam / BTS vlogging, you know, trips and stuff like that. So, all right, so the A7S Mark III. What would I like? All right, what do I want to see on that camera?
You don't want me to steal yours, do you?
The only thing, like, this is the biggest thing for me.
I know what you're going to say. We have the same one.
Only thing that I want to see on the A7, huh?
On 3, ready?
On 3.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. 10
4K.
Bits, 4K.
Man. 4K. Oh, okay. I was gonna go 4K 60 frames, but 10-bit might be just as good. But you can probably
I would give up. I'm sorry. I would give up. All right, let me think about my words real quick because I gotta be careful about what I say right now. I don't know if I would give up I think I would give up 4K 60p.
Yeah, you're right.
For 4K 10-bit.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean?
100%. Because that's the only. Whenever I go to shoot with my A7S, the only thing I think about is can I use this in this situation? Am I going to get the colors I want? But sometimes it's just like I need the low light, so it doesn't matter. That's it. It like cuts that option out. So now, if I'm going to shoot 4K and it's well lit, I'm going to probably take out my FS7 if I can, unless it's some situation where I can't get the bigger camera. So anytime it's a normally lit situation, if I'm shooting 4K, which I normally am, I'm going FS7 because of the 10-bit. So yeah, you're right. If I could get 10-bit in that, I would probably choose that over 60 frames. But in my head, that was going to put it over the top. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because man, appreciate it. Man, I'm telling you, because I love a beautiful, beautiful image. You know, it's that 10-bit. It's just, you know, 60 frames is great, you know, and I would love to have that as well. And you know what? I have a feeling that it's going to be one or the other. It would be beautiful if it's both.
I don't think they're going to do it 10-bit, man.
I don't know, man. This is Sony. This is Sony. I'm not going to get overly excited, but all I'm saying, it would be beautiful.
Yeah, what if it was both? What if it's 60 frames, 4K 60 at 10-bit?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
You're saying the whole thing?
Oh yeah, if it was both 4K 60 frames and 10-bit.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Come on now, that already passed the GH5 because the GH5 only does 4K 10-bit at up to 30 frames. If you go up to 60 frames 4K, you're going down to 8-bit, right? So if it maintains that 8-bit,
I mean,
in 60 frames, I'm sorry, that 10-bit.
10-bit.
60 frames 4K, forget about it, man. I'm done.
You're right.
I'm done.
I might just get rid of everything else.
Exactly.
They might as well throw internal NDs in there too, and an XLR. Gosh. We're really good to go.
I would deal without having internal, and obviously I don't have a choice, but I would deal with that. I don't mind. That's fine. I have the FS5 for that.
Yeah,
cool. But if it does that, oh my goodness, forget about it. I'll probably, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be shooting with that camera more than the FS5. Yeah. I'll say that much.
I would get rid of the FS5 for it since I have the FS7. I would switch those.
Damn, good for you. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna poop on your parade.
No, I would definitely like to maintain for me, always for you. I mean, FS5, FS7, Red Raven. Yeah. Anyways, I definitely
realize.
What happened?
I said I'm a camera hoarder. If you didn't realize.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Why can't we all be camera hoarders? No, I would definitely have to keep the FS5 just mainly for visual I mean, my clients like when I show up with a nice big camera, and that was pretty much like just for show more than anything.
Yeah.
But man, if the FS7 Mark III A7, I'm sorry, A7, I'm way ahead of myself.
Another camera.
Yeah, man. I just all right. So the A7S Mark III, 10-bit 4K. Guys, please make that happen.
Yeah.
Please. You have a sale right here. You'll have a sale. 2 sales. They'll have a sale.
Like they really worried about us.
You want gravy in there? Give us 60 frames at 4K 10-bit. What? I'll settle for 4K 60 frames, if going down to 8-bit, just like the GH5. Fine. Yeah. I'll settle for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Obviously, but come on now.
All right, yeah, let's stop getting crazy about that because
I know.
That's not even real.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't put it past Sony. I wouldn't put it past Sony because they've with the release of the A7S, then the release with the A7S Mark II, A6500. When I first heard about this camera, man, at the price point that they came out with, 4K, 2430, like with the features of this camera, the time that it came out with at that price point, that was absurd. That was absurd. Then they capitalized on that, and then they went and added internal 5-axis internal image stabilization with this 6500. That's Sony. That's who Sony is. So they're constantly pushing the limits, and they're I definitely appreciate that as a professional.
Yeah,
what I do,
I love their products.
Definitely appreciate that they are listening to the market and they're giving the market you know, with some business sense. Like I said, as I mentioned before, that's the reason, that's the difference with the A7S and the A7R. They have to kind of keep them separate. You know, they have to.
Well, yeah, they're catering to one or the other as far as stills or video, and that's great because now you have a choice as to what you do and what caters to you better. It's awesome. Like that's so cool that we have that choice.
Yeah. Well, the FS7 in itself is a terrific camera. For people to put it in the same field as a Canon C300 Mark II at that price point is terrific. The FS5 to give us what we get, even externally raw, is terrific. Even though, you know, I think a $500 upgrade for the raw was outstanding. I think that was terrific. I think it was a ripoff to give us the same 120 frames and continuous 1080 for the same price, $500. I didn't get it. Poor Mr. McCoy got it, and he was ripped off. He was just so upset. I was upset for him because I was right there with him when he was looking at it. I was like, he was so frustrated. But anyways, that aside, you know, thank you, Sony, for listening to your market and giving us what we want. And we're hoping that we see that again with the release of we're looking forward to that, the release of the A7S Mark III.
Yeah. One day.
I mean, this one was released in my sleep.
Yeah,
I woke up and I see all the news. I get so many alerts.
I got like 16 texts from you. Yo, we got to do an episode.
Yes.
It wasn't quite.
We had to talk about this. So yeah, man, this was a good one. All right. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Just to remind everyone, we had several people join us live. We appreciate those of you that were tuned in and asking your questions and giving us your comments and even clearing some things up when we had questions. We definitely appreciate that for joining us live. If the rest of you want to join us live and get notifications when we go live, or we actually have several interviews lined up coming up, and we're excited about that. We'll be showing those names as we do those interviews. But if you guys want to join us live, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's YouTube. It's just type in iFilmmaker or iFilmmaker podcast on YouTube, and you'll find us. And you can just subscribe right there, turn on the alerts, and you guys will get a notification every time we go live. You guys can join our conversation. We're doing this live every episode from, I guess, for now. Yep. And I don't see this stopping because I think it's a pretty easy workflow. You know, it's fairly new, fairly easy.
Yeah, minor setup and no need to edit anything. It's already out there. It's pretty cool.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so that's for YouTube. Now, remember Patreon. Go follow us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/iFilmmaker. I posted a video today of my setup for today. I had a lot of lights going on. A really nice interview setup that I actually really like. I think it's actually potential to go into a documentary reel for me, which I haven't released one in a while, so I have to work on that. But I really, really liked it. So go over there, check that out. I talk a lot about it. I even have my production assistant step in the light, and basically, so just so you guys can see the kind of lighting that I had going on there, check that out. Go over to patreon.com, patreon.com/iFilmmaker, and give us a follow. Check that out. If you're listening on iTunes, we appreciate a good review. Leave us a 5-star review, nothing less. All right. So you can go ahead and follow us at iFilmmaker Podcast on Instagram. You can go to ifilmmakerpodcast.com to check the show notes on this. We'll be putting all the links to the blogs and releases and videos that I was just mesmerized by on this camera. We'll be posting that on there. You can follow myself at arielmartinez.tv on Instagram, and also Mr. Saratelli at Jersey Filmmaker. He is the Jersey Filmmaker.
That's right, baby.
Hey, speaking of which, buddy, I think I'm going to be in Jersey in a week or so.
What?
Yeah.
Well, let's meet up. Well, I'm going to be down there as well in like a week or so. So hopefully we don't swap here.
Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah. I got to come down there for a shoot.
I'm going to be over there like the 3rd or the 4th. That's right. That's
no, that's not. No, that's fine. The weekend's off limits for me. I got some personal things going on, but I'll be there during the week a little bit too.
In Jersey? I'm going to be in Jersey. That's what I'm saying.
All week?
No, I'm going to be November 3rd, 4th.
I'm going to be in Miami the 3rd, 4th, but I'm going to be there like 6th, 7th, 8th as well. So get back there. So
no, yeah, I'll be back by then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
just so everyone could know about our whole schedule.
Exactly. So just a reminder, guys, we accepted this challenge. We announced it at the beginning of this episode. Check it out. We don't know what we're shooting. We're going to be in Miami. Well, I'm always here. Mr. Ceratelli has already purchased his ticket. He's going to be here on November 22nd. Write it down. November 22nd. Is it 22nd or 21st?
It is 22nd, yes.
22nd. Is that a Wednesday?
It is a Wednesday. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So either people are going to be traveling or they're going to probably have some time before Thanksgiving, hopefully, to come join us. If you guys are
available, if you're around the area, in the Miami area, November 22nd, all right, we're going to be shooting something. We don't know what it is. We want to be spontaneous. We're going to make a film, obviously a short film. It could be a mini film. It could be anything. Yeah. We're going to be shooting something. We're going to be shooting on the Red Raven. Mr. Ceratelli is going to be down here with his Red Raven. We're going to get together. We're going to shoot something. We want you to join us. Be with us. Join us. Be a part of it. Just observe whatever you want. Be a part of it. We're going to also shoot some BTS stuff. We're going to be posting it all over on Patreon. Make sure you're following us there. We welcome anybody. If you want to join us, join us. We thank you guys for listening to this episode. Mr. Ceratelli, we're going to have to say goodbye now.
It's that time, man. I got to go get packed up for my next trip. So
I got to get over. It is Thursday night right now. I got to go over and check out some Thursday night football. My Dolphins are playing against the Ravens.
Oh, man. They just started, huh?
Yeah. I got to get on that. All right, buddy. Well, good episode. Good camera. Can't wait for the A7S Mark III to come out and definitely be talking about that. And the rest of you tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, my name is Aaron Martinez. This is Ceratelli.
Later, guys.
Later.